Millennials and Gen Zers say they have quit their jobs because their mental health was suffering.
How about that? According to a new survey, 50%, half of millennials and 75% of Gen Zers have done just that. Millennials are also 3 times more likely, and Gen Zers 4 times more likely to experience anxiety and depression at work compared to baby boomers. So if you don't want to see a counselor, or if you can't afford to see a psychotherapist, there are actual therapy apps on your phone that can help you. That's what the app people say. Here with some answers for this, in his opinion, licensed marriage and family therapist, Dr. George James. Dr. James, thanks for coming back and seeing us
Thank you.
again.
Thank you for coming in. So on the one hand, you would think maybe these apps are a good thing because not everyone may be able to afford a therapist, or if they need constant access to something, they would be able to have that.
And that actually is one of the good things, right? The accessibility, where there's some places in the country or in the world where you can't actually find a therapist or go to see someone. And so these apps help you to do that, and a lot of them might be free or low cost.
Well, I think the first thing that we have is free, and it's called Woebot. We found this video from the app Woebot. Well, there it is. So again, you looked at Woebot.
I did.
What's their claim to fame?
So I think what they do is that they have psychologists from Stanford behind them, and that they put in this algorithm where you click in and say whatever's going on with you, and there's a response. And there's an instant gratification, whereas you put something in, there's another response, and it happens over and over.
Okay, let's go to the next one. What's the next one called?
Youper.
Youper.
And so this is video from them that we're about to show.
It's a free one, too. Now, what's the difference with Youper, then?
So what I liked about Youper versus, say, Woebot is that early on, you can actually put in your own words versus it feeling like you're just clicking what the script says.
Oh, so instead of it giving you options, you're telling it, and you'll describe yourself.
It gives you the options, but then you can also add your own.
I like that. A little more specific, then, about what you're dealing with.
And do you have immediate responses with Youper as well?
Yes, immediate responses, and both of them will actually give you a selection of things that you can click through to say, are you anxious or overwhelmed or stressed? And then you have to figure out which one is you. So they both do that.
Now, are they all algorithms, or are we supposed to believe that there's a therapist or someone on the other end typing out responses?
So that's the part as a therapist that I didn't like, where it is an algorithm, right? So I just fooled around with one of them and just put in like random words, and it didn't really respond to the random words.
Well, you have the opportunity to get some screen time with a real human therapist on this WYSA. I don't know if they call it WYSA. Here's a video from them. So I like that aspect, that you eventually can hook up with a real person.
So right on the screen, they had this thing that said coach, and so that you could click to talk to a coach, and what they're pushing or saying is that it's more affordable than even seeing a therapist. So 90 days of their coach is less than seeing a therapist.
Okay.
But we don't always know, like, what are the backgrounds or qualifications of the coach.
And are you able to at least get that information if you wanted it?
You probably can, because they said meet the coach and so forth.
Okay. Now, Replika.
Here's some video from Replika. What's their thing?
So very similar. What they do is that you can create your replica through these eggs and so forth, and they're going to ask you different questions.
Okay.
It also still feels like a script. So the good side is that if you need something, if you need a response right away, you can get that.
Okay.
And sometimes the activity of just saying what's going on with you can feel good.
To me, it seems like a starting point, but I really think after I realize I'm going to need some help, I want to see a real person. You know what I mean?
Well, that's part of my belief.
It seems like WebMD to me for some reason.
It's WebMD with a response, right? So WebMD, you kind of click in and it tells you what it is. But it almost feels like somebody's texting you, and you can feel like, all right, I have a response. But the difference is, I believe, you don't necessarily get that relatability that you have with the face-to-face or human connection. So in therapy, I make mistakes.
That's the thing. There's going to be misunderstandings between you and an app.
Right.
But at the same time, we just talked about millennials and Gen Zers, who a lot of them are more comfortable texting than having actual conversations in person. So probably it just depends on your preference. Some people, it's easier for them to communicate through texting instead of a face-to-face and having to talk about your problems with someone looking at you.
And maybe that's causing the anxiety, depression at a job. Oh my God, I got to talk to real people.
It's also the difference. I think baby boomers were told that they had to kind of hold it in and
suck it up and go back to work, even though you hate your coworkers. Of course. course, I don't know if you will like apps because it's taking business away from you.
Well, more therapists have moved online too, so there's this hybrid option where you could do online, but I think it's more of a combination service versus one or the other.
A starting point.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to take